Hello friends, this is Worm, and today I wanted to talk about Iron Banner this week because something strange happened for me, and that was the fact that I played a ton of Iron Banner this week. A ton of Iron Banner. In fact, I played more Iron Banner this week than I think I have ever played Iron Banner, like, over the culminations of seasons, right? Like, one of the ways I can judge this is by how many times I reset my rank. This week alone, this first week of Iron Banner, I reset my rank 3 times in Iron Banner. Right now, normally what I try to do is I try to play, enough during 1 week to reset it once, then I call it good. Then the next time it comes around, I'll reset it again so I get that shader and all that stuff. And then basically I'm done with Iron Banner. Like once I grab that shader, I'm done with it. But for some reason, well, not for some reason, but Iron Banner this week felt really good, and I really just kind of wanted to talk about why and talk about what exactly it was that made it feel so good and so just fresh this week, right? So of course, let's start with the very first part of the week. I think it was just Tuesday and Wednesday, right? We had the new game mode, Tribute. Now I know that I'm probably in the minority here. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority here, but I enjoyed Tribute. I thought it was a really fun game mode, and we have a whole video talking about why I think Tribute was a good game mode, which you can go watch somewhere on screen around here, right? But Tribute was fun. I had a lot of fun playing it for those couple days, but of course it was switched to Iron Banner Control. Now, I will be, full disclosure here, Control is my favorite Crucible game mode in Destiny 2. I like it more than Trials, I like it more than Comp, I like it more than, Clash, Rift, any game mode, you name it, Control is my favorite. And that's not just because of how Control is, but I've always liked Control style game modes. In Call of Duty, Domination's my favorite game mode, and stuff like that. But that's obviously one of the reasons why I enjoy playing it. But I think that also where I really found the most enjoyment was the matches themselves. The matches themselves, they all felt, well, not all, 95% of them felt perfect, right? You didn't have situations where you got mercied, right? And I know I made a post a few days ago about, wonky matchmaking. Look, the majority of my games felt very balanced. The scores, whether we'd win or lose, it was typically within about 15 to 20 points of each other. We'd come out on top, but just barely. And that always feels good because, when a game, not just Iron Banner game, but when a game comes out as a close call, that's how the teams are pretty evenly balanced. And you couldn't just, waltz your way in here and steamroll everybody. You couldn't, sit back and just give up because you're getting steamrolled. Like everybody's skill is kind of matching each other's, and it led to some awesome games. In fact, I did take a screenshot of a couple of the scores, but I had some computer issues and had to delete them. Yeah, anyways, that's story for another time. But so many of the games, like you look at the KDs and the scores of these players, and you have, one game, in one game, you have one person on each team with a 2+ KD, right? Then you have 4 people with anywhere from like a 1.5 to like a 1.7 KD. And then you have one person who is like below a 1 KD, like on both sides. Like it feels like it's perfectly balanced. It's not stacking up, 5 players with 2, 3, 4+ KDs against a bunch of negative KDs, right? And I know KD isn't everything. People try different builds and stuff like that. But still, like when I'm seeing that very frequently, that gives me a lot of confidence that, hey, like maybe the matchmaking is doing what it's supposed to. Maybe the matchmaking is actually feeling good. Like I'm having to fight, but I'm not having to sweat my ass off, quite frankly. Sorry for language, but I'm not having to sweat my ass off to win this game, but I still have to be mindful. I still have to put some, some effort and some logic into it. Like I love that. I love that in Destiny 2. Like I like to actually have combat within the game, right? I'm a big fan of combat, and I'm a fan of combat where I don't just step on everybody. Like, yes, every now and then, we all have to admit, it is fun to get in a lobby with players who are substantially below your skill level, and you walk out of there with like 30+ kills and like an 8 KD, blah, 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 stuff like that. That's fun, but that's not fun for me personally to have happen every single game. Like, I like those games where like it's a close call. I like a game where we really need to focus on winning. And I also like games where your teammates feel that same sense of urgency. One of the chief complaints I've had about the control playlist forever, basically, is you get put in lobbies with players who don't play for the win. They just play for the individual fun factor of it, right? And this week in Iron Banner, I don't know if Bungie's changed matchmaking. Maybe I just got super lucky. Maybe this is all placebo and I'm just making it up, right? But it feels like in my games, my team and the enemy were both committed to a win, not just individual skill, right? Most of the games where, hey, like, we are making a conscious effort to win this game as opposed to just, I want to get 40 kills. And that is such a good feeling. I love that. I love when that happens in Destiny 2, because as many of you know, I'm more about winning. I would rather win a game and have a negative KD than lose a game with a positive KD. Now, of course, you can make the two work in your favor either way, but I'd prefer to win. I would sacrifice my 3+ KD down to a 1.4 KD if it means my team could win. And this week in Iron Banner, my teams, 95% of the teams I was with, felt like they were making that conscious effort to win the game. And I love that. It was so fun. It was so refreshing, because too often in Iron Banner, mercy rules roll out, every third game. That's not fun, right? If you're on the giving end, it's not fun. If you're on the receiving end, it's not fun. Like, it's not fun for mercies to happen. And I understand why they do happen. It's good that that's there, but it's not always fun. But moving on from just the quality of the actual gameplay of these matches, I also have to say there was a great connection. And one of the biggest complaints that I have about Crucible, especially in my area, is sometimes, I say sometimes, pretty frequently, you're going to get one person on the enemy team who's just lagging a tiny little bit, right? And you get in the game, and most engagements you get in with this person, it doesn't matter, right? Like, you still kill them, blah, blah, blah. But every now and then, like, you're shooting somebody and all of a sudden they teleport, 3 or 4 meters away and you die. And it's like, that's so frustrating. That happened one time this week. Throughout all my Iron Banner matches, right? I think I'm at like 80 something wins. You could check on the post, or not the post, the pre-game, whatever. I'm at like 80 something wins, and I've had it happen one game where somebody was lagging, right? And this person, like, it was literally one engagement, and it was the situation I just explained. Like, they were shooting at me and they were strafing while they're shooting, and then they just teleported backwards. And that happened, like, I think 2 times that game. It didn't even happen every single engagement. Guys, this is what a, like, religious feeling, a sense of euphoria feels like, to play dozens of Iron Banner games, or just Crucible games in general, and not have to struggle with lag. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. It feels so good. And I think that's definitely another reason why Iron Banner felt so good this week. Now, the last thing, the big thing we cannot ignore is, of course, last week in Crucible, the featured 6v6 game mode, control game mode, was Checkmate, right? Now, I've made it openly known before, I'm not a big fan of Checkmates. I think that it still needs some refining and stuff like that. But of course, they didn't do Iron Banner Checkmate this time around, which was nice, because I could use my sidearm here. I saw all archetypes of weapon. I saw hand cannons, I saw, shotguns, I saw snipers, auto rifles, submachine guns, I saw sidearms. There was one game, I don't know if I got it on recording, it might be the next one here, but there was one game where I was up against 3 enemy players using Rat King, right? Like, nobody uses Rat King but me, it feels like, right? But it's a good feeling to have that variety back in the meta. Right, it's a good feeling to not have to feel like you're at a disadvantage for not using a hand cannon, right? So I think that's, again, that could just be like placebo, so to speak, of being starved and deprived of my normal Crucible game mode. But man, Iron Banner this week was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But I want to know, what are your thoughts on Iron Banner? Did you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed mine? Because like I said, it was great. I literally reset my rank 3 times. I will probably reset it a 4th time tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I don't remember my exact score, but I'm sure I'm close. But I want to hear your thoughts. Was Iron Banner good? Was Iron Banner bad? Of course, did you like Tribute? back in the earlier part of the week, or did you not? I don't know. I want to hear all that stuff. Also, I am currently working on a grievance list. So if you have any issues with Destiny 2, specifically things that are not really biased, but like just generally problematic and annoying, leave them down in the comments below, because I am working on our, what is it, like quarterly gripe list, quarterly rant list. I don't know what you want to call it, but anyways, that's it for me, guys. Do me a favor, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more daily Destiny content, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Oh yeah, watch these videos because YouTube thinks you'll like them. Bye for now, guys.